Hello, I'm George Gonzalez, and I'm obsessed with making games. And today we are talking about experience and leveling up, like always every Thursday. And I want to ask you a few questions, see if these things matter to you as a game developer. Do you care about actually finishing your games? Do you want to save time and avoiding pitfalls? And do you want to have repeated success instead of random luck, which is sometimes happens? Are these things that interest you? If so, this video is for you. We're going to talk about how experience can help get you these three things and my experience as a game developer. I make VR multiplayer games. I have playlists. I'll show you how do I prototype even like 2 card games, another multiplayer games. I've been able to publish and finish games. Throughout the course of my career, I've been trying to find talent that can help me become better. And I realized that there's a gap missing for the indie developers. And I know that most of you out there as developers, you're on YouTube mainly to learn how to code things, right? You want to either improve your coding skills, or you're looking for like how to do X, how to do Y, how to do Z, and you're just looking for what. And so these videos might not seem enticing to you, but I'm sharing these because I feel like these are more valuable than those videos. Although those videos are a good resource to have, but oftentimes, what I see is that if I'm a game developer and let's say VR, and I want to share information with you about how to do this in VR, in a year, that is going to change because the code might change, Unity changes, Unreal changes, things keep evolving, especially with VR. And even with Unity and the engines, and they change. And so, oftentimes, content creators that are in the space of tutorials, they tend to focus on specifics, and because of that, every year they have to do a how to start a VR game in 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027 for the rest of the, for as long as they want to do that, because that's what gets clicks and views. But I'm not here to get clicks and views. My whole goal is to help you achieve success, to be able to finish your games. And so we're going to go over things that will help you understand how to win as a game developer. And so we're going to start with this chart that I'm going to show you. It talks about things you should ask yourself, but we're going to go really quick because these are questions you should be asking yourself every time you start a project. And the idea with this is to first show you what all the things that it might entail at a beginner level, and then give you an idea of how these are going to be different once you've done it before. Previous experience, because previous experience will help you be successful. And so we'll talk about that. So who is working on your game? Is it just you? Is it you and a friend? Are you going to do Fiverr work? Are you going to opt in for some things? What are you making? How have you done this before? That's one of the base questions. Have you done this before? If the answer is no, then you need to start small. Okay, skills required. What are the things you need to research and learn? What things have you done before? Again, this is all asking you things like, have you done this before? If not, then you got to think about something smaller and think about how much are you taking? How long do you plan on taking, and double that? Because if you think it's going to take you 6 months, it's probably going to take you a year. It's just the way it works, and especially if you haven't done it before. And accountability. How will you track your work and your goals? Okay, so these are things that you should be thinking about. But the first tip to help you with achieving your goals, finishing your games, is how important previous experience is. And oftentimes you'll see this because you'll probably try to find a job, and almost no job has a real intro job, right? Like intro into the field. So for example, if they're hiring for entry-level developers, they ask for experience requires. Like, how am I supposed to get experience if no one will let me work without experience? Like even an internship or something. And so in the game dev world, you're going to have to look for experience on your own most of the time. You're going to have to build that before you even get out. I graduated in computer science, and by the time I graduated, I had already made a game with a group of people. So I've learned how to be a director, how to publish a game on Steam, and competing with other titles, and how to make something enticing and fun, and like all those aspects of game design and accountability. And we made a deadline because we had to compete, and there was a deadline on when we had to finish to submit the work. And so we worked on a year deadline with 30 kids that's during school year, and we made a game called Knockback. And that was fun, and I learned a lot. But I did that before I graduated. If you're going to school for something, make sure that you're getting the experience that you need before you get out. If you're paying for something, especially if you're paying thousands of dollars for schooling, then you better make sure that they're giving you the education that you need, not just doing a paperwork and signing something that they say, oh yeah, that'll help you get a job. No, like experience will help you get a job. Okay, so how do we deal with this, right? We want to make games. We might not have the experience. I want to share an analogy to help you understand, because some people don't understand how valuable this is, and I can't understand. Like, I'm teaching you to fish, right? I'm not just giving you fish. I'm just saying this is how you do it so that you can do it on your own. And if you need more help, like detailed instructions on what you need to do week by week, I have Endgame Devs, where I We do weekly calls, and that's what I do. Is we talk about your game, your ideas, your goals, and what you do, and what do you need to do to get done. Like, let's do it. And so that's for detailed instructions and game devs, where I help devs finish their games. And so, but these videos are here to teach you the principles so that you can understand them. Okay, so hopefully you understand. Like, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so the example is, this is my backyard, or part of it. I just cut down a tree that I had to get rid of because it was not well. It wasn't doing good. And I want to give you an analogy to help you understand. Like, this is my probably third time or fourth time taking out a root, okay, of a tree. And I also done bushes and stuff and whatnot before, helping out other neighbors and what. And also I helped my dad take out like a huge 15-year-old tree that was like huge stump, like this thick. It was crazy. And so I've learned how long it takes, how fast it can be done. And so there's multiple. The first thing is, I've done it before, so now I know what it takes. Okay, so I know that there's different routes that I can go about. And so to give you an example, previous experience. Okay, I now know that if I wanted to take it out in a day, I could just dig a big hole. I rent out one of those grinders for tree stumps. They have them like $90 and every 2 hours, I think, or something like that. And so I bring it over with a trailer. It's like this huge machine that I can drag, and then I turn it on, and it'll just like, and it'll slap the crap out of the tree, and it'll just shred it. And I can do that as far as I dig. So I have to dig so that the machine can go through and plow it. I can't like dig under. It'll just like, it's like little hammers that'll just boom, 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 and they hit it. And so I can do that and get it done, right? But it costs money. The other, and I don't want to have to like drag the machine over, borrow a trailer, yada yada yada. So I'm comfortable not spending any money. And so if I don't want to spend money, I could just spend like 2 days like constantly digging. Instead, what I'm deciding to do with this tree is I left a little bit on the top because I cut it, and I left at the top so that in case I needed leverage to take it out later when I dig out all the roots. But I know that if I'm going to do it on my own, I'm going to have to dig it, and I'm going to have to cut every root that's connected to it so that I can like basically take it out. And I've done it before, but I know it's going to take a little bit of time. So, and because I'm busy, again, this applies to game dev, because first of all, I had previous experience. So because I had previous experience, I know the routes I can take. Like, I can pay money and do it faster, or I can take my time and do it for free, but I understand that it's going to be hard work. Now, the other thing when you have experience is you understand how to adjust, right? So I have a busy life. I'm doing these videos. I am doing dev work. I work as a game developer. I do games on the side, and I do this YouTube channel, and I have Endgame Devs where I help developers one-on-one. So I have scheduled calls that I do every week. And so my schedule is busy, and I have a family. I have the yard, like I'm doing this. So what I do is I also have like an apricot tree that I have to like, now it's the season, so the apricots are coming down. So I have to clean up. And so what I do is it takes me like 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes a day, like in the afternoon, either in the evening or in the mornings. I go out for 20, 30 minutes, pick up some apricots. And then I go out with, I don't even know what to call it, but this heavy bar. And then I also have shovels and whatnot. But right now, all I'm doing is for 20, 30 minutes, I pick a spot, and like you see in the picture here, I have the roots that I took out. This was in one sitting, 20 minutes. I just dig around, kind of shove it, tilt it, try to get some leverage, try to cut it out, and then I take out a root. And so every day I just go out for 30 minutes, take out a root if I can find one, or try to dig closer to it. But for the most part, I've been taking out one root at a time. And I know there's like 20 in there. And eventually I'm going to have to dig out to see what it looks like inside, and see what is holding it down, and actually taking out all the dirt around it and pull it out, and then put dirt in, put grass and all that jazz. But for now, that's all I'm doing. So I know what it takes, and I can pace myself. And the cool thing is, the other thing that applies to game dev is not just the pacing, but the fact that I know it's going to get done. Like, this thing is not going to sit there forever. Okay, it is going to get done because I've done it before. I know the work, and I can accelerate it whenever I want. I can dial it down, whatever. I can take a break. This thing is going to get up, and maybe in a couple months I'll show you guys, or I'll post it on social media. It's going to be out. This thing is coming out. Like, it's guaranteed because I already done it. Like, I have 100% faith in my ability to take this thing out. And that is how powerful learning these principles are, guys. Like, I'm trying to, like, how else can I tell you? Like, is there something in your life that you've done that you know if you write it down, you can get it done? The same thing applies to game dev. Like, if you have previous experience, you know you can do it. Okay, so you're like, okay, well, why, how do I do that? Like I understand the concept, but it's just that this is the biggest pitfall. It's just most of the times you get tips like, don't overscope, don't create multiplayer games as your first game, don't do MMORPGs, don't be ambitious, don't make a year-long game, like fail faster. You have all these tips that people give you, and then you know what people do? That doesn't apply to me, or I'll do it differently. Don't worry, like it's okay, or I'll figure it out on my own. So instead of accepting advice from people that have done it before, developers prefer to go the same pitfalls they're going to go into, and we're stubborn. That's what happens. Developers are stubborn. And so, like, if I were to give you one tip, is stop being stubborn and let someone help you, because that's what I'm trying to do here. And I see a lot of developers. How do I do this? It's like, don't worry about how to do things. Learn how to learn. Because if you can learn on your own, you don't need to ask anyone anything. You have ChatGPT now. You have AI. And so, like, there's so much resources, even more so now. When I graduated from computer science, one of the things that I've learned is that I just learned how to Google better. I learned how to learn in computer science. They threw me through different languages, did different things, built servers, built OpenGL things, like how to draw into the screen, how to do the like 0101s, the hex code, how to do SQL server, SQL injections, all that jazz. But at the end of the day, it was just like you had an assignment, you had a goal. How do you get there? How do you do it? And figure it out. Like critical thinking is the skill. Having someone show you how to do it. Yes, you have to do it like 3 or 4 times before you actually learn. But the most valuable thing you can do is learn how to be a critical thinker. And this is the problem: is a lot of developers prefer to do it on their own and struggle through it rather than someone helping them. And so I'm going to help you right now if you want it. Okay, so here we go. This is the last thing. So the 3 things you need is experience, time, and scope. Okay, so work from previous experience. If you have no experience, the first project should be small, no more than 3 months. If you don't know nothing, look at my level 0 videos. I have level 0, level 1, level 2. So the way you go is you've never built a game before. The first step is to learn how to build in the platform of your choice with the engine of your choice. So mobile, VR, PC, whatever it is, and Unity, Unreal, Godot, whatever. Choose that and figure it out. You figure out the pipeline. Build to the device and figure that out. Once you have that, now you can build small prototypes. You could grab a template, learn from it. What genre do you want to build? That's the other thing. A lot of developers feel like if they are in let's say I make a side scroller. Okay, cool. I learned some things. Now I'm going to go make a card game. Now I'm going to make a third-person shooter. And you think, like, I think 20 to 40, maybe 40 to 50% of the experience from that previous game carries over. The problem is that you're starting almost from scratch. Is that there's certain things, there's certain gotchas with developing, especially coding, in a different genre. You can see that in my Marble Snap card tutorials. I am a VR developer. I do multiplayer games. And so for me, doing multiplayer games is simpler now, easier. And also, like, 2D and 3D games are a piece of cake compared to VR. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just such a like weight off my shoulders when I have to do like test things in third person or whatever, 2D. But there are still some things that I struggle with because I never done it before. And it shows. If you look at my Marble Snap card game, I go through every step of the way. But the good thing is that I've done so many games before that I was able to pace myself and understand how to go about it. And so that was a skill that carried over, but it was still my first time, so it was hard. I've tried doing a card game before because, again, I did that tutorial for my friend, and my friend always loves card games. And so there was a time where he's like, oh, we should build a card game together. And I started looking into it, and I was like, oh, this is so hard. I didn't even bother because I didn't want to go into it. But years later, I had better experience making games, and I was able to tackle that. So I could see myself, like, that experience did pay off. But if you want to save time, okay, this is about saving time and pain. Okay, pick a genre and get good at that. Like, don't switch over, because what's the point if you're gonna like pick the thing that you want to stick with? And if you're trying to figure out and you're jumping from genre to genre, that's okay. Just maybe do prototypes of different genres until you find the genre that you want to work on, and that way you can pivot faster. Because the value of publishing a game in that genre is huge, because you go through all the stuff that happens in that genre. Like whether it's card games, you understand like where the friction is for developers, where the friction is for the player. There's so many things that you understand that if you build a card game, you figure it out, and then you build another card game, and then another card, the third, fourth, it's guaranteed to be better. And because you've done it so many times, you could get hired as a developer for card games, and you can go and say, hey, look, this is like I've done card games. And so also, if you're looking for a job, figure out what type of genre you want to work in, right? Like if you want to work for Blizzard and you want to work for Hearthstone team or Diablo, like be making games with that in mind. Okay, so with time, how do you how much do you have? How well are you using it? And so this idea of like how well are you using your time is that you have to understand, like if you're switching genres, like you're kind of wasting some time, because that experience is valuable. So use it for the next time. Time is money for you, right? Like, even if you're on your own, you could either be working extra hours at your job to get more money, or you're working on your own, or you have time with family and whatnot. But your time is valuable. And so that, like, if you were working for a studio, how much would you get paid? And that's how much it cost you, right? And so think about, okay, if you spend 10 hours a week in your game, okay, where are those hours allocated? Are you doing 1 hour a day, and maybe in the weekends you do a little bit more? Like, how much time are you using towards that game? Because, for example, let's say my scenario, I know, based on my experience with the job, that I can make a pretty good early access game from beginning to end, not counting the art, 7 months, easy, like a good multiplayer game. So because I have that, I know that I've done 7 months to early access from beginning to end for me. But let's say right now, as a hobby, I'm working on a game on the side. It's not going to take me 7, unless I I do 35 extra hours. I cut down on work, or I figure out how to adjust so I can do 35 hours for the game. I won't finish in 7 months. I'm doing Magic Hunters. I posted videos about it. You can see my progress, and I think it started last September, October. It's almost a year now, but it's been like up and down. I've changed some things, scope, but yeah, it's because I've been learning and trying to figure things out, R&D and other things that took time. But I was only sometimes spending 4 hours a week, and I've recently been trying to do more and more every day, trying to shave and do that. But the third skill that I'm in the process right now of improving, this is one that is a constant battle for developers: scope, because we always want to do more, because that's where the fun is, right? Like, when you have something that you love, you start like going on tangents and just exploring things. Cut scope when possible, and don't take more than you can handle. Focus on small skills. So, for example, in this, for me, Magic Hunters, one thing that you'll see in my videos, Saturday live streams, or videos that I talk about the game in general, I have a playlist for Magic Hunters. You'll see the progress of me trying things, figuring it out, and then saying, okay, like, I love doing spells. I know spells are like the thing that is gonna like make my game better, and you'll see I'm excited for the spells. And I'm doing some cool stuff with gesture base, and like the spells are amazing because they're not just like shoot, shoot, shoot. It's actually like you can control them. They do different things, like the bubble like bounces between enemies. And you have this dragon that I'm working on right now. I'm still trying to figure out what to use for like controlling it, so that you spawn the dragon, like you can move it and it does damage where the head goes, and so it's like, and it's just like, it's super cool to see that you can, in VR, we have the 3D space, you can see all of it. So you can use that space and use the controllers to control it. So whether it's joystick, or maybe I'm going to try with the controller to see, because that'll be super fun. But like, I want to do spells like crazy. If I were to be able to pay for everything else, and I just focus on spells all day and just create 1,000 spells, I would have a blast. That I could do that for years. But I understand, like, I have to, other things that I've learned that I need to take care of in order to make sure this game is successful. So I got to take all the producer and director roles for now, until I can figure these things out and see if it's a viable product. So to cut scope, I'm going to launch on SideQuest. I trimmed it down. I only have 3 spells right now. I'm going to cut down some stuff. I don't need a backend for a demo. I'm just going to say, okay, these are the 3 spells. Go crazy. There's some dungeons. There's some stuff. Go fight. It's multiplayer, but there's no name. There's no backend, no saving. It's just a one-time playthrough there. And so people can experience and see if they like the magic. Do they like the fighting? And if they do, we have a Discord. But the scope has helped me get there faster. So the goal is to hopefully in a month be able to publish a demo and see if this is worth investing more time. Because if it is, there are certain metrics that I'm looking for. I either quit my job or do less on my work and do more at home for my game. And that is kind of what I'm trying to balance and figure it out. But that is what I want to share with you guys, is that the core of the game loop, as long as you focus on the scope, the time, on experience, you'll be fine. You'll be successful. And just like the tree experience I was telling you about, once you do it enough times, it's not a matter of can you do it. It's a matter of when will you finish. And that's up to you. And it's just a matter of clocking in and getting it done. That's what I'm saying. Like, but oftentimes developers choose not to, right? So if you haven't made a game before, learn the pipeline. Once you learn the pipeline, make builds, prototype like crazy. Once you've gotten prototyping done, and you have a lot of prototypes in the genre or your field or the platform, you feel confident with that. Okay, then let's start making games, but make a small game. Make it like, what does it take to win? Like a demo version of a game, and see what people say. Learn to get feedback, and if people don't want to play it anymore, why? Or why do people not want to share your game? And work on making something that's valuable with a core game loop. And if it picks up, then yes, then spend 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and do a better prototype. And then say, okay, well, now I got to learn backend and UI and improve the VFX and vertical slices and whatnot. Like, then you can have a year-long production. But first, learn to make those small games, and then build a bigger version of that same game with all the bells and whistles that you want to do. But you have to pace yourself. You can't just go from 0 to 1 year. You are no different than everyone else. You need, in order to create that repeated success, you got to understand the process. Just like I was telling you with the tree, I know the different routes that I can go. I know what it's going to take, and I'm okay taking, like, the tree's going to sit there forever, but like, it's not going to be longer than a year. By next year, I'll be done. And so I have no problems. Like, so I put in an hour, I know what I'm putting it in because I see the progress. So in game dev, you might not see the progress. So it's important to keep track of what you're doing and what you want to do, like a list of things you need to do, like Trello on Monday or whatever. Keep an order of your task, but just do one at a time and figure out the timeline. Again, like, if you pick out the whole, like, you go from have you ever published a game? Yes or no? If you have it, then I would advise take a small step, create how do you even have a business, an LLC? If you don't even think about a year-long game. You don't even have a business. What are you going to do? Like, are you putting out of your own pocket from your family budget, from your bank account? That's just bad. Get serious, get an LLC or a business and create a game, publish it in 3 or 6 months. So pick 3 months because it'll take you 6 months. And then you'll realize all the little things that take to publish, all the pages and setup and yada, yada, yada. And then my advice, if you're not super hard-headed and prideful, my advice is do it for free. Even though it doesn't give you the audience that you want, if you create a 3-month game and stuff, a 3-month-long game or 6-month-long game, and you do it for free, it's okay. Like, the value of what you're going to get feedback for, right? It's a free game. Maybe not everyone's going to download, everyone that you thought would download it, right? Because there's people that you would say, okay, well, I want the $5 players to play on it, not these kids that are just downloaded for free and pooping on the reviews. Okay, yes, that's a thing. But if you're willing to take feedback and you want the most amount of feedback, give it for free. Not even $1, because $1 is not even worth it. Do it for free and take the heat and figure it out. Doing that will make you a much better developer than you sitting, like, hiding and cooking up this game for a year only to realize that people don't like it, and then you're even more depressed, right? So, like, don't do that to yourself. Like, get it out early, be willing to get rejected early on, and then you can move on. Either you can, like, scrap it, okay, this was not such a good idea, or it didn't hit, like, can I shift it? Can I salvage it? And yes, you can salvage anything because you just did 3 months. That's the biggest problem, is a lot of developers think that they can skip it and they can figure it out without the mistakes. That is not saving you anything, okay? Doing more in less time will get you more experience faster. You'll be able to understand things. You'll be able to repeat the success because you've done it. You know what's going on. And if you stay in the genre, so if you do the things like that, your first game is free, it takes you only 3 months to make, you publish it, you create your business, you get it out there, you will become a better developer because of that. Better than if you just waited for a year to make a cool game. That it's not gonna be cool anyways. So, like, I don't know why you're sticking out for 1 year when you can just understand and get feedback in 3 months. That is my advice if you want to succeed as a game developer and you want to do it consistently. Once you make games, you can start figuring out how to make them successful, marketing, because there's a ton of things to learn even after publishing. And so it's important that you figure it out early on and not repeat it, because you're saving yourself years of headaches and just, like, bad habits. And when you launch, you feel so depressed. So save yourself the trouble, the headaches, and do this. Okay. We'll see you on Saturday for the live stream. I'll show you where I'm at with my game. Good luck, guys.